Well,
No.
you know what?
I think you're going to have to backpedal.
And I'm not going to. I'm sticking with that.
God damn. Never challenge someone to prove how dumb they are.
I know. I always lose. Be like, fuck, you're right. You're right.
My bad.
Yeah, I was wrong. What is this? Tell us about this CPS thing. Because I remember the top one there, CPS, Death of a Child. I remember the high points, but I don't remember the in the weeds.
So this little girl called Trinity Rain Chandler.
Now, wait a minute. Is this the one we talked about briefly before?
Oh, I don't. Did we talk about it? I can't remember.
I don't remember
Is she a little
talking
black girl?
No.
Those are
Okay, no.
carriers.
That was one we talked about last time. So I
She
haven't heard
became
about
an
this.
angel on Saturday, December 19th, 2020. She was a victim of child abuse. October 7th, 2020, I filed a police report with Michigan State Police due to Trinity being dropped off looking like this. And they have a picture of her. And her
She got
face
bruises all over the side
is
of her
just
face.
covered in bruises.
How old is this baby?
Young.
Like 5 or something.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it said. She was very young.
There's no telling what she lived through.
This is, I think, a family member, or was it a friend? I'm not sure.
It was the sister's, or the mother's sister.
Due to Trinity's... Hold on, I lost my place. Being dropped off looking like this, she was covered in bruises. The state police went to see Trinity that night, and CPS was there the following morning. Due to Trinity's mother finding out that we called the state police, Trinity's mother stopped allowing my sister to babysit Trinity. Trinity's mother decided to have her boyfriend, Samuel Lester Smart, has known anger issues, to quit working to take care of Trinity. Now, he is a murderer charged with first-degree child abuse and torture. We trusted the system to take care of the situation. We did everything we could, but they left her looking like this. And it doesn't say right here, the state police got there that night. The next morning, CPS was there, saw her covered in bruises because they made a report saying that she had bruises on her. They left her in the house with him, and the very next day she was dead.
And here's the thing.
That makes me angry.
Every motherfucker that was involved in that needs to be charged with accessory to murder. Period.
Oh, there's the picture. She is covered in bruises.
Yeah.
Okay, Ross is dying over there.
I don't know what
so-
Ross is laughing at, but it's not about this.
No.
You asked me where that was at.
Where what was?
All these armored personnel.
Fort
carriers.
Hood. Around Fort Hood, somebody said, "Oh, great! They've gone from losing soldiers to losing equipment."
Armored personnel. It's a video
piece of a train blocking a crossing with 4 armored personnel carriers, and there's no other rest of the train either direction you look.
Yeah.
Where was it?
Near Fort
They
Hood.
said near Fort Hood.
Where was it that this drill sergeant died? Was that near Fort Hood?
No, that was in fucking San Antonio.
Okay, we'll talk about that.
Okay, we'll talk about it.
That's so fucking sad, though.
Going back to this girl, how can CPS see her covered in bruises
I
and just
know
leave her
little
there?
kids get bruised. I mean, come on.
not
Yeah,
like
but
that.
not like
Pictures,
that.
no.
This little girl, no little kid is that clumsy.
No.
That's why I'm saying the cops that left her there and the CPS people that left her there need to be charged with accessory to fucking murder because their negligent actions directly contributed to that girl's murder.
Like, my God, if you came in and a little girl has a bruise.
You're like, oh, she probably fell.
Right,
hit her
she could
face.
have, but...
I mean, you see kids all the time, they get bruises and knots in their head from falling.
Right,
and
but when
stuff.
she's got that many injuries
she
of
probably-
various colors and,
On the picture, she probably had 10 bruises on her face.
and she's fully clothed, y'all. That's what you can see just... So there's no telling what was under that baby's clothes.
Yeah.
Hopefully that guy gets raped to death in prison.
Well, that would be...
And you know what? I wouldn't be fucked up
That's
about it.
what I like to call karma.
Yep.
Because it's kind of like what we said about the little young woman in the Philippines. There's nothing legally that can be done to him that's bad enough.
And the problem that I have is if you are a government official, whether that's local government, state government, federal government, you cannot be sued personally for something that you do in the line of duty in performing the duties of your job. So that means that those cops, scot-free. Those CPS agents, scot-free. And that's a fucking problem. I get that allowing civil litigation based on something that you do during the duties of your job would open up to a lot of tricky shit. I understand that. But they need to be held accountable for that.
Well, yeah, just like I said, it's not like
that
CPS
fucking
walked
girl
in and there's a knot on her head or a bruise on her cheek, which, okay, that's what...
Could have been...
This girl's face is covered.
Yeah.
This wasn't falling on the playground.
Yeah,
She had 2 black eyes and a bunch of other issues.
And I think they said that in the report, too. She had recovering...
like different
black
stages.
Eyes.
Yeah, and
Both black eyes.
And the bitch of it is, they could have saved her life, and they fucking didn't.
Well,
And they need to lose their job. They need to be fucking prosecuted criminally.
you know, and I keep thinking about, I mean, obviously what the child went through, but I keep thinking about the family that tried to save her.
Mm-hmm. Like they said, we did everything we were supposed to.
That was one of the hardest things I ever sat through, was a couple of grandparents that were suing the state because they had been in a very similar situation to that. And they could see the writing on the wall. They saw it coming. They did every fucking thing they could to get custody. I think this little girl was 5 years old at the time. And, you know, they had gone through all the bells and whistles, and they were trying to get custody, but there kept being, you know, shit that would put it off and put it off and put it off. And they had a hearing that was scheduled for a Friday, and it was continued. And that weekend, the baby died because the mom was off shrooming. And the baby was left in the car.
I remember that.
And,
oh my God.
you know, died of heat exposure. And I'll never forget listening to these grandparents try to tell their story. And everybody knows I'm a big walking ball of emotions. So trying to sit there and look professional and not just... I had to leave the room.
Oh, I probably would have too.
I just left my stuff recording, and I just stepped around the corner until I could get myself together because I was going to be sobbing on the damn bench. And, you know, that's a no-go.
Yeah, they usually look down on that.
And I'll just never forget it as long as I live, because they were like, we did everything. We got an attorney. We jumped through the hoops. We did this. We had that. And it's still, because of bureaucratic bullshit, red tape, she died a horrific death, and nothing we do here today will ever bring her back. But we don't want it to happen to another little kid. It was just...
See, and that's
horrific.
also a situation where that little girl's mother should have been put to death via oven.
Yeah, I mean,
be like, you know what? We're going to set this bitch on 200 and let you cook to death for the next 10 hours.
because that's exactly what happened to her child.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just really don't understand CPS.
No, because
at
like
all.
situations like that, they... Oh, well, you know, we can't be sure. But then another, when the kid has
if you
some
can't
sort
be
of...
sure, why don't you err on the side of fucking caution?
Well, that's what I'm saying, because then we have things where I personally seen this, like where people who have connective tissue disorders or have like the brittle bones, the child will actually have an injury, and it is scientifically explainable by a genetic condition they have, but because they can't be sure, they take the child away. So they can do it in here, but when this child is obviously being beaten and going through God knows what they won't, and I don't understand why sometimes they will and sometimes they won't. I don't know if it's down to whoever makes the, whoever's on the call. I don't understand.
Because like when I was little, when me and my sister got taken away the first time, a cleaning woman had found us alone
in the hotel,
the room, and I was told the pictures were so bad they wouldn't show my grandma. They said my head, neck, chest, shoulders were just black and blue, like someone dunked ink on me.
Oh my God!
Why the fuck would they give me back to them?
Like, this was what was allowed to happen to this child at one time. Yeah. So we're going to take the chance.
And then, here she is again. Yeah. She's back. I'm sure y'all can do better this time.
Did she have to have any training? I mean, like, did she have to do parenting classes? Like, what happened before she...
I was told they had to go to parenting classes, but it's all the same type of people. It's a bunch of drunks and drug users, and they sit there for the time that they have to, and then afterwards they go fucking party and get drunk and get high, and as long as they're sitting through those classes, they get their kids back.
Right, so it's not like they have to go to like inpatient where they have to dry out and they have to, it doesn't really fit. It's letter of the law kind of things, rubber stamping, but it doesn't affect any change.
Nope.
And then the little children are the bargaining chips used in this, and they pay the price. And it just enrages me. It's just not right. And I don't know what the answer is, but there's got to be a better solution. You know,
I don't know.
I mean, I understand that the parents have rights too, but
no, you know what? You start beating your kid, you lose your fucking rights. Period.
I get that.
And I'll go one step further. If you are beating your kids and they get taken away by CPS, you should automatically forfeit your fucking parental rights. That should be part of the package.
I agree with that, but I'm talking about places where it's a suspicion and it's not known, like these places where there is something wrong and it's like the kid's sick or there's some sort of accident or so. Like, no, if it can be proven that you're fuck you.
Yeah, but like she's saying, on this side, it's like, oh, they could be.
But we're gonna.
It might be a medical condition, but we're gonna take their kids away, and they're never gonna fucking see them again. And then over here, you have someone who's beating, molesting, raping,
cigarette burns, the gamut.
They're fine.
You know, what the fuck? How do both of those things happen?
So here's the thing: if I were a CPS agent, I would, and like we'll start with that first one, with the medical condition. Be like, look, you don't have this paperwork on you right now. I'm going to remove this child from your custody temporarily. Get me this paperwork in the split second you do.
Yeah, here's a form from your doctor.
You will have your child, and you will have a formal apology from me. But I am going to err on the side of caution to do what I think is right to protect this child.
Which seems reasonable.
And any reasonable parent would say, hey, you know what? I don't agree, but
at least
let me get that paperwork for you. I've got it at the house. If you can wait here for 2 hours, I can be down there and back.
I'd have a copy in my purse. I'd have a framed copy right next to the door. Here it is.
Copy emailed to myself. All of that.
You know,
and I
because at least you're being an advocate of the child. We can all agree that if we don't like it, that's necessary.
But this bullshit, we don't know. There's a lot of bruises. Look like you might be getting beat every day, but fuck, you'll probably be fine. No, absolutely not. That's negligent fucking homicide is what it is.
And, you know, my mind is just too... Because I always go to what that poor child felt when they all left. And he or she knew she's alone with these monsters again.
The same shit that happened to Gabriel Fernandez.
There was... God, that broke my heart. There was a little girl, and I don't know if we ever talked about her or not, but she was an abuse case, and something happened to her where she had to go in the hospital. She was begging the nurses to let her die because she did not want to go back. I could not imagine.
See, that's where if I were the nurse or whatever,
goddamn giveaway,
I would lose my license because I would smuggle her out of there. I would lose my shit, and like I don't know what happened to her. She's not in my duffel bag.
I guess she ran away.
You know what? If I was the nurse, I would have called CPS and I would have told them, if you don't take this child, when her parents get back, she will not be here. God. Or you take it however you fucking want to, and I'm not apologizing, I'm not backpedaling. Take this child and put this child somewhere safe, or she will not be here when those fucking parents get back.
Yeah, I mean, like, I just don't like, if you go into these careers, theoretically, your whole purpose is to protect children. So I don't understand, like, do they get that burnout? Like, what is the mechanism at work here?
The problem is people who are too sensitive to that can't work that job. I mean, they just
like I couldn't do it.
I couldn't either. There'd be a bunch of I'd blow other people's heads off.
There has to be a level of, and I hate to put it this way, but like coldness or detachment.
Yeah, you have to have a healthy distance.
Those fields, and I think you already have that kind of detachment. And when you've been in that field for so long, that detachment gets bigger and bigger.
Here's the thing: when you detach long enough, it becomes harder and harder to reattach. You know, it just does. That's just the way it is.
It's just terribly sad, and like seeing that little. I will still be seeing that little girl's face when I go to bed tonight, and it makes me incredibly sad and incredibly angry that she God knows what that child went through. And the thing is, she's just one of hundreds, thousands of the cases, and like we'll never know about. And We've got to do better. I don't know what the answer is, but we got to do better.
Immediate execution. If you abuse a child like that, there's no rehabilitating that. You didn't have a lapse in judgment.
Yeah.
You know?
I agree.